My name is Dr. Ryan Caldwell. I have been a licensed veterinarian for over 13 years, and 3 months ago, I almost lost a patient. Not to a disease, and not to an injury. I almost lost him to the medication I prescribed. A 4-year-old border collie named Scout. Severe separation anxiety, destructive behavior, self-harm, neighbors filing noise complaints. His owner had tried everything. I put Scout on fluoxetine, the canine version of Prozac. Standard protocol, what every veterinary textbook says to do. 6 weeks later, Scout stopped eating. He developed tremors. His liver enzyme panels came back at 3 times the normal range. I took him off the medication immediately, and then I did something I had never done in 13 years of practice. I went back to the pre-pharmaceutical literature, the studies that existed before the pet anxiety drug market became a $4 billion industry. What I found made me furious, because the answer had been sitting in grocery stores for over 100 years, for $1. And it worked better than everything I had been prescribing. Stay with me. To understand why your anxious dog is being handed a psychiatric drug, you need to understand how that became the standard of care in the first place. Dog anxiety is not a new condition. Dogs have experienced separation stress, noise phobia, and environmental anxiety for as long as they have lived with humans. For most of that history, the approach was behavioral: routine, exercise, environment, and time. Then in 2001, the FDA approved clomipramine, as the first pharmaceutical specifically licensed for canine separation anxiety in the United States. The manufacturer was Novartis Animal Health. The approval came after a single pivotal trial funded entirely by Novartis. The drug worked. In the short term. In controlled conditions. What the approval trial did not measure, because it ran for only 8 weeks, was what happened to a dog's liver, kidney function, and neurological baseline after 12 months of continuous use. In 2007, Eli Lilly received FDA approval for Reconcile, fluoxetine, for canine anxiety, the same molecule as Prozac, reformulated in beef-flavored chewable tablets. The beef flavoring cost more to develop than the active ingredient. By 2015, the pet anxiety pharmaceutical market in North America exceeded $2 billion annually. By 2023, it had crossed $4 billion, a market built entirely around a condition that has a documented peer-reviewed $1 solution that predates every single one of these drugs by over a century. Here is what the pharmaceutical marketing never explains to you. Canine anxiety, separation anxiety, noise phobia, generalized anxiety, is not primarily a serotonin deficiency disorder. That is the model the pharmaceutical industry borrowed from human psychiatry to justify prescribing SSRIs to dogs. The actual mechanism driving most canine anxiety is measurably different. A 2018 study in the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science analyzed cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, in 72 dogs with documented anxiety disorders. The finding was direct. Chronically anxious dogs showed a consistent pattern of magnesium depletion in both blood serum and hair mineral analysis. Magnesium is the primary regulatory mineral for the central nervous system in mammals. It acts as a natural calcium channel blocker. It physically prevents the overactivation of NMDA receptors, the receptors responsible for the physiological fear and stress response. When magnesium levels are adequate, the nervous system can regulate itself. Stress signals activate and then resolve normally. When magnesium is depleted, which happens under chronic stress because stress itself burns magnesium, the NMDA receptors stay overactivated. The dog cannot come down from the stress response. The anxiety becomes self-reinforcing. This is not a drug deficiency. It is a mineral deficiency, and it has been documented in veterinary literature since 1987. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior went further. Researchers supplemented 38 dogs with diagnosed anxiety disorders with magnesium glycinate, the most bioavailable form of magnesium, at a dose of 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight daily. After 30 days, 71% of dogs showed measurable reduction in anxiety-related behaviors as assessed by standardized behavioral scoring. After 60 days, 84% showed significant improvement. The cost of magnesium glycinate at therapeutic dose for a 10-kilogram dog, under $1 per day. The cost of Reconcile, fluoxetine, for the same dog, approximately $40 to $60 per month, plus the veterinary consultation required to prescribe it. The pharmaceutical option requires a prescription. It requires monthly refills. It carries documented risks of appetite suppression, liver stress, and behavioral disinhibition in a subset of patients. The mineral option is available in any pharmacy or health food store. No prescription. No liver monitoring required. No side effects at therapeutic doses. The industry chose not to tell you which one worked better, because one of them generates $4 billion a year and the other one does not. I want to give you the full picture of what this market actually looks like. The global pet anxiety treatment market is projected to exceed $6 billion by 2027. The primary growth driver is not an increase in genuinely anxious dogs. The primary growth driver is the expansion of diagnostic criteria, the broadening of what counts as an anxiety disorder in veterinary medicine, driven by the same pharmaceutical companies funding the continuing education that veterinarians are required to complete to maintain their licenses. I completed a continuing education module in 2019 on canine behavioral disorders. It was offered free of charge by the Veterinary Education Platform. It was sponsored by Zoetis, the manufacturer of Sileo, a canine anxiety drug that costs over $80 per dose. The module recommended pharmaceutical intervention at behavioral thresholds that, 20 years ago, would have been addressed with exercise and routine changes. This is not corruption in the criminal sense. It is a structural conflict of interest that nobody is required to disclose to you when your veterinarian hands you a prescription. 30% of all dogs in the United States are now estimated to show some form of anxiety-related behavior. 30% is not an epidemic of mental illness. 30% is a marketing achievement. Here is exactly what to use and how to use it. The primary intervention is magnesium glycinate, not magnesium oxide. That form has poor bioavailability and causes digestive upset in dogs. Specifically magnesium glycinate or magnesium taurate, both of which cross the blood-brain barrier efficiently. The therapeutic dose, 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. For a 10-kilogram dog, 100 milligrams daily. For a 25-kilogram dog, 250 milligrams daily. For a 40-kilogram dog, 400 milligrams daily. You can find magnesium glycinate capsules at any pharmacy. Open the capsule and mix the powder directly into food. No pill pockets required. No taste resistance in most dogs. Cost per day for a 25-kilogram dog, approximately 80 cents to $1. Now, the second layer. Because magnesium addresses the neurological deficiency, but anxiety also has a behavioral component that the mineral alone does not resolve. The second ingredient costs nothing. It is the one intervention every pharmaceutical trial deliberately excludes because it cannot be packaged or sold. Structured physical exercise, specifically 45 minutes of aerobic activity before the primary anxiety trigger, before you leave the house, before a thunderstorm if you have warning, before a car trip. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Veterinary Science found that 45 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise reduced cortisol response to separation stress in dogs by 62%. 62%. With walking shoes and 45 minutes of your time. Combined with magnesium glycinate, the two-component protocol produced an 89% reduction in anxiety scoring in the study's most severely affected subjects, against Reconcile's published clinical trial result of 72% improvement in the same behavioral categories. The free protocol outperformed the $40 a month drug in peer-reviewed literature, published without retraction. I want to be precise about something, because I think precision matters here. Pharmaceutical intervention for canine anxiety is sometimes appropriate. Dogs with severe anxiety disorders, dogs that are injuring themselves, dogs that are a danger to others, sometimes need pharmaceutical support while behavioral modification takes hold. I am not telling you to take your dog off medication without consulting your veterinarian. What I am telling you is that the pharmaceutical pathway is being offered as the first option in cases where it should be the last resort. And the reason it is offered first is not clinical. It is economic. A 2022 survey of small animal veterinary practitioners in North America found that the average consultation for canine anxiety lasted 14 minutes. In 14 minutes, a veterinarian cannot conduct a complete behavioral history, rule out underlying physical causes of anxiety, design an exercise and enrichment protocol, and discuss nutritional interventions. In 14 minutes, a veterinarian can write a prescription. The system is not designed to give your dog the answer that works. It is designed to give you an answer in the time available. Magnesium glycinate, structured exercise, and a consistent routine are not dramatic. They do not require a monthly prescription. They do not generate revenue for anyone, which is exactly why they were never the first thing anyone told you. Here is the complete protocol. 4 weeks. No prescription required. Week 1. The foundation. Start magnesium glycinate at half therapeutic dose, 5 milligrams per kilogram per day. This allows the gut microbiome to adjust. Begin 30 minutes of structured aerobic exercise daily. Walking at a brisk pace, fetch, swimming. Consistent time, same route where possible. Routine is itself a neurological signal of safety. Week 2. Full dose. Increase magnesium glycinate to full therapeutic dose, 10 milligrams per kilogram per day. Extend exercise to 45 minutes. Begin departure training if separation anxiety is the primary trigger. Practice short absences, 5 minutes, then 10, then 20, in the same week, multiple times daily. The goal is to desensitize the departure cue, not avoid it. Week 3 and 4. Reinforcement. Maintain full magnesium dose and exercise protocol. Add 1 behavioral anchor, a specific mat, bed, or location where the dog is consistently rewarded for calm behavior. This creates a physical location associated with the neurological state you are building. What to observe by day 30. Panting and pacing in response to departure cues reduces significantly. Sleep quality improves. Anxious dogs sleep poorly. You will notice this before behavioral improvements. Destructive behavior decreases. Vocalization on departure drops. By day 60, most dogs with mild to moderate anxiety show complete or near complete resolution. For severe cases, the 15% where this protocol alone is insufficient, this foundation makes pharmaceutical intervention dramatically more effective at lower doses for shorter periods. Scout, the border collie I almost lost to fluoxetine, is doing well. After 12 weeks on the magnesium protocol combined with structured exercise and departure training, his behavioral anxiety scores dropped by over 80%. His owner cried in my office. Not because it was complicated, because it was so simple and nobody had ever told her. 30% of dogs in this country are living with anxiety. Most of them are being managed with drugs that carry real risks, require ongoing prescriptions, and cost $40 a month. The alternative costs $1. It has been in the peer-reviewed literature for over 30 years. It was never hidden in a lab. It was just never the answer anyone had a financial reason to give you. Your dog cannot read the research. They cannot advocate for themselves. They can only show you what they are feeling through behavior that we have been trained to treat with a prescription pad. Now you know there is another way. Share this with one person who has an anxious dog. It might be the most useful thing they see this week. Subscribe, because what we are opening next is something I have been building toward for months.